Hey, Brook Scholars, welcome back to Remote Learning with me, Mr. Scott. How are you? It's the end of the week, Friday, June 5th. Here we are. Happy Rainbow Day, everybody. R for rainbow in our ABC countdown to summer. Got on my brightest shirt here, celebrating all the colors. And we're ready for a little nonfiction reading. So, at this point, my friends, if you do not have a paper and a pencil, you are going to need to collect that right now because today we are annotating, and I thought we would stay in the Arctic, and we would figure out just what kinds of challenges are faced in such a hostile climate. Now, I'm not talking about Admiral Peary. This is going to be a little bit different. Instead, we're going to work on how it is that animals and life can survive in the Arctic tundra. All right, let's get started with the intro. This says predators in the Arctic tundra. So, how do animals stay alive? What do they need to do, especially if you are a predator? Let's find out. In and near the Arctic Circle is the Arctic tundra. It is located in northern Alaska and Canada. The Arctic tundra is a cold and windy place. The winters are long, almost 9 months long. In some places, the sun barely comes up in December, and temperatures can drop to minus 94 degrees Fahrenheit. It is so cold for so long in the tundra that a thick layer of soil stays frozen all of the time. It's called permafrost. Now, what did you learn? What did we get from the introduction? Pause the video, write down your annotation. Go ahead. All right, well, for this, I just put frozen Arctic tundra because that sets the scene. That is where all of this is going to take place. So there's my frozen Arctic tundra annotation. Let's move on to the second section. Most people think about snow when they think about the Arctic, but the Arctic tundra gets less than 10 inches of water as rain or snow a year. That's just like a desert. The cold, wind, and lack of water make the tundra a tough place to live. Not many animals dare to stay all year, only musk oxen, Arctic wolves, and polar bears in winter. What do you think? What did we learn from that particular section? Pause the video, write down your annotation. Go. Well, for the second section, I wrote tough place to live. It is freezing cold. It's not easy for animals. Certainly, that's probably the reason why people don't live there. It is really tough place to live. Let's go on now to the third section and see what we learn there. Summers are short, but the days are long. During June, the sun is out for almost 24 hours a day, which means warmer temperatures. The very top layer of permafrost melts, which helps to form ponds and wetlands. Plants like grasses, small flowers, mosses, and lichens spring to life. You won't find any trees on the tundra, but other animals migrate or travel to the tundra. Caribou, tundra swan, and snowy owls are some animals that arrive. What did we learn there? Remember, it doesn't have to be a complete sentence. We just want a couple of words to remember what we learned from section 3. Pause the video and write your annotation. Bing! Okay, for section 3, my annotation said short summers, but life is easier. I put life is easier. Life is easier for things to grow, for things to develop. It's just easier all around. What about paragraph 4, the fourth section? Let's read it. The most famous predator in the tundra is the polar bear. Polar bears are strong swimmers, and they like to live near the coast where the hunting for seals is better. They use their 2-inch claws to catch and hold their prey. Polar bears can weigh up to 1,600 pounds, so it takes a lot of meat to keep a body like that big moving. Goodness. What did we learn about polar bears? Smash that pause button, write your annotation. Fourth section, I wrote down polar bears, powerful hunters. What's next? We leave the polar bears behind. We're off to the fifth section. This says the Arctic fox is a very different kind of predator. It is much smaller. The largest Arctic foxes only reach about 17 pounds. They are omnivores, which means they will eat anything, even plants or insects. Their favorite prey is rodents. Rodents are mice like animals such as lemmings and ground squirrels. They also like birds, bird eggs, and fish. The Arctic fox's coat changes color during the year. In the summer, it is brown or gray, and in the winter, it is white. That makes perfect camouflage for the Arctic fox. It can easily hide from its predators. When things get tough, the Arctic fox has another trick. It follows polar bears, and when the polar bear is done eating, the Arctic fox moves in for the leftovers. Hmm. What did you make of the Arctic fox? Hit the pause button, write your annotation. All right, so I like the idea of this Arctic fox. It's still a predator. It manages to survive in this very, very hostile place, the Arctic tundra. I wrote down sneaky predators, Arctic fox. It seems like the Arctic fox has always got some trick up its sleeve, including following behind the polar bears. I really thought that was interesting. It kind of reminded me of someone like, in an old school cartoon, like tapping someone on the shoulder. When they look, they get their sandwich stolen away, something like that. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. 6. Much rarer than the polar bear or Arctic fox is the wolverine. No, not Wolverine, like, the ching, 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 not the X-Men character. This is really a Wolverine type of animal. Let's learn more about it. Wolverines might look a little like bears, but they are really in the weasel family. Like Arctic foxes, wolverines will eat anything they find. In summer, berries are full of fat, which gives them energy. Wolverines, though, are really tough hunters. They only weigh 25 to 40 pounds, like a medium sized dog. Ooh, okay, what did you make about wolverines? What'd you get from that section? Pause the video and write it down. Go. I don't know about you, but these wolverines, they sound quite terrifying. Especially that sentence in there where it says wolverines, though, are really tough hunters. Goodness. So I wrote down wolverines eat anything. Everything is on the menu for a wolverine. Ooh. Hope we don't meet one of those. Okay, last one, paragraph 7. Predators have to work very hard to live in the Arctic tundra, and things are getting harder. More and more people are looking for oil in the tundra. Earth always seems to be warming up. The tundra region is shrinking. That means there's less land for predators to hunt their prey. But the news isn't all bad. People are trying to understand how to keep the tundra in balance and hoping to protect the tundra through new laws. What did we learn from paragraph 7? Smash that pause button and write it down. Go ahead. 7th and final paragraph, I wrote down Arctic tundra needs help. A lot of things are going on up there that are, is really causing it to be a very, very different kind of place, and it's becoming a real challenge for the predators to live and live there. So, well done, my friends. Okay, here's what you need to do. Your next step, of course, is to answer the questions below, multiple choice and short answer. Then you need to record your voice reading out your annotations up on Seesaw. I cannot wait to see your work. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will see you here next Monday. So for me, Mr. Scott, the Ultimate Champion, bye!